Oh, hold on. I got a beep going. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
What's happening? Is Luke's kitchen burning down? It's a giant fire in the background.
It's the smoke detector.
Carl comes running in. He's like, Luke!
All right, sorry.
Well, welcome to the Culinary 360 podcast with the Ignite Chef team.
Hi, I'm Chef Ryan.
I'm Chef Luke.
And I'm Chef Robert. And today we're going to be talking with Matt Davis, who's the food service director at Galesburg Unified School District in Galesburg, Illinois. He's going to tell us a little bit about the district and some of the things that has happened over the last 4 years since he took over as food service director and some of the current challenges that he's facing. Just hopefully share a little bit that everyone can pick something up from and maybe take into their kitchen. Well, welcome to another podcast, and I'd like to introduce everybody to Matt Davis, the food service director at Galesburg School District, Galesburg, Illinois. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your district?
Yeah, of course. So we are located in West Central Illinois. So for anybody who's familiar with the state of Illinois, we're in between the Quad Cities, pretty much West Central Illinois. Our student population is right around 4,000 students. We have seven different serving locations where we serve within 5 different buildings. You know, roughly on a daily average, we serve about 2,600 lunches and another 1,800 breakfast meals. Right after COVID, actually, we recently did a major construction project where we remodeled all of our kitchens.
Nice.
We also closed 2 elementary schools at that time as well and did some revamping in our district. So a lot has happened within the last couple of years in our district. So exciting time.
Did your enrollment decline? Is that why you closed the 2 schools, or did you make bigger ones?
Yeah, our enrollment has actually declined. That's been kind of steady within the population of Galesburg. The district was at a point where we had some old buildings, and we knew our population probably wasn't going to get any larger. So you come, to a financial question where do you utilize your resources to remodel some of the buildings,
right,
encompass a larger population, or do you keep on paying the bills to inefficient buildings?
Right.
Of course, there was a lot of decision making that had to go in that, as with a school district. But that was the decision that was made. So,
Luke knows a little bit about your area.
Yeah, I grew up in Jacksonville, Illinois, so
sure,
south of there. But yeah, I went up to that area pretty often.
Okay.
My aunt actually lives not too far from the Quad Cities area, and my mom was a counselor in the Illinois correctional system, and she would come up actually to Galesburg in that area pretty often for various things.
I was one of the people she canceled.
So, Matt, tell us a little bit about your progression of becoming a cook, a chef.
Sure.
And then how you got into becoming a food dude.
I went to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, so Southern Illinois, and I was going to be an English teacher. I worked in one of the cafeterias there when I was down there. I enjoyed that. When I got out of college, I did the Chicago thing for a little while, and then I found myself back in Galesburg, and I was substitute teaching during the day, and I was working at a bar and grill at night.
Nice.
And within a couple of years, I was managing that bar and grill. Mm-hmm. And everything's been unicorn and rainbows since then. I managed that for about 7 years, and then I worked I was a chef at 3 different country clubs. I worked at an independent restaurant in town as well, and then I got into retail food service. So I actually worked for Hy-Vee, Hy-Vee grocery store.
Okay.
For about 5 years before I took this position about 4 years ago. So what kind of got me into school nutrition was actually working at Hy-Vee, because we actually catered all of the Head Start, so all of the early learning centers in our area. So it was kind of a behind the scenes catering business that we had there. We did a lot of business before 6 a.m., getting all of those out. We had 11 different locations.
Wow.
I started to learn a little bit about school nutrition and what was involved in it, with the dietary guidelines and how stringent you have to be on, your planning and your menu development with all of that, and to meet all the requirements, coming from being in the country clubs where, you come in and you have, three or four people with you, and you look into the cooler and say, "Hey, what are we going to make tonight?"
Right.
You kind of just be Houdini every day. School nutrition is a little bit of a different business. So
yeah, right.
A little bit more butter used in country clubs.
Yeah, just a touch, and salt. A lot more salt.
Yeah, so that's kind of in a roundabout way. Yeah, very non-traditional. I did not go to culinary school. I always had an interest in it, but working in independent restaurants, working at the country club, working in retail food service. I mean, you guys know how many hours are put in when you do that. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a background of definitely being on the floor and getting my hands dirty. So, a little bit of a different gig now, but
yeah, right. That's all right though, right?
That's all right.
How many years is the food service director now?
4 years now.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
Lady before me was with the district for 20 years.
Wow.
And so it became available, and I'm happy to have the opportunity. And like I said before, a lot has happened within the short period of time that I've been here. So when I took over, actually, I had a year, and I figured out kind of what I was supposed to be doing on a daily basis, somewhat. And then, COVID hit. And so we knew that we were going to have a construction project ahead of us. Basically, all my employees did not come back.
Right. Jeez.
I got the phone call that we're starting construction early.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
And you could imagine, these kitchens that we are all remodeling and basically tearing down.
Yeah, right.
You could imagine, what they were like.
Uh-huh.
Those old school kitchens. They're full of stuff. They were clean, but they were very full of stuff. So we had me and a couple of our custodial crew and a couple of our maintenance crew. We did what we could, so we got it done. And then everything opened back up, and we were virtual for a little while. So we actually had 11 different remote sites that we were handing out basically sack lunches to the community, which is a great thing that we are able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We did that for a good little while we had a brand new kitchen just sitting there. Mm-hmm. We also, during one time when we were remodeling our high school, we had, and Robert can attest to this, we had basically double wides set up at our school where we were housing our high schoolers. And then they would come over to a gymnasium and they would eat lunch. And we had grill outs every day, as Robert can attest to, because his artistic ability came through, and he decorated our remote food service line for us with art materials that he had found from leftover construction projects.
Yeah.
Nice.
The gym, they had cordoned part of it off, and we had to make a servery for everybody. So we went and found every table we could and everything, and then we just started going through what the art department had left over there, and we found tarps and vases and flowers and food related things, and stickers, and just tried to make it fun for the kids, because otherwise it was just like these weird tables, and we're serving out of hot boxes, dropping stuff just on the table. I don't even think we we might have had one set of wells, but I think everything else was, we were just dropping stuff on tables. We had bus tubs with ice.
Right.
It was total
wild.
makeshift.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have a multi-million-dollar kitchen just sitting there.
Just sitting there. Oh my gosh. Wow. But I don't know. That's chefs at our nature, right? Like we see that adversity and we find ways through it and find ways around it, and always making the best out of what we can do with what we got. So
always on the fly.
When I guess the design phase of these kitchen remodels, like how were you able to be somewhat influential, or was that basically taken out of your hands?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of that was already in the planning phase when I came along.
Mm-hmm.
But I was definitely, the district made sure that I was involved started to be involved in the meetings that were being held already. Yeah, so I guess somewhat involved. Yeah,
that's cool. I think that's better than a lot of places. I think a lot of times, it's just taken away.
My insight really kind of came from the whole logistics standpoint of how the operation was going to flow. I had confidence in the people in the design group and the type of equipment and whatnot that they were going to provide for us.
Right.
I think where I came along was how are we going to logistically do this and do this properly, because the logistics of our program was completely changing. Before the remodel, we had 3 production kitchens that would satellite out to a couple other schools. We went to central production. So everything was going to happen then at the high school. So, like I said, when I worked for the grocery store, we had a very large logistic program of how we, sourced out our drivers and where you went on a daily basis and how you got things done in a timely manner and handling all the catering on top of that. Yeah, that was a little bit of a process for us to figure out how we were going to do that. But we have some, very updated pieces of equipment now that help us along the way. So, yeah.
That's cool. So you just have one commissary kitchen?
We have one production kitchen. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the other locations are able to. They each have double stack ovens still.
Okay.
So they're able to do some of the quick bake stuff like French fries, the breadsticks, little tater tots, and stuff like that. But when we're doing spaghetti or mac and cheese or whatever we're doing for the population, that's all coming from the high school.
Okay.
So to give you an idea, we have anywhere from 24 to 27 employees at our high school, which is our main hub. Every other location has 6.
Wow. Okay. Big difference.
Yes. In our elementary, so our K through 4 schools, we added another 200 students to each of them. So our remodels and our satellite schools were amazing too, because we just had one little, like old school, one little window, where the kids came up, and there's one little window at a time to very open, 2 lines coming in at the same time. Nice. Serve a lot of kids in a little bit of time. So yeah, it's good to see.
How fast is the turnover from breakfast to lunch?
We do an after the bell service. So you're looking at about 9:00, and then you're looking at about 11:15, 11:30, depending on what school you're at, to start lunch. So at least, a couple hours. Yeah, a couple hours.
Okay.
Our lunch lasts for approximately 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours. We do 4 lunch lines. They have at least 20 minutes to eat.
Okay.
I think a lot of schools struggle to get 20 minutes. We do a darn good job here with getting them through and making sure they have 20 minutes. Sometimes 20 minutes is great. Sometimes 20 minutes is a little bit too much. I've walked into lunchrooms where it's like, whoa, it must be the end of lunch here.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So I've got a kid in elementary school, and some of my favorite comments are when he comes home, he's like, yeah, lunch was shorter today. I don't know what was going on. It's like, no, it's the same time every single day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I have a third grader, and he lets me know how everything goes every single day.
You're getting critiqued every night.
Yep. I think you could be doing this better, Dad. You're like, just stop.
Nice.
Matt, you talked a little bit about some of the challenges of COVID, but what are you seeing, or what are you having some challenges right now with supply chain or getting the right food? We're hearing a lot of things about, some people are starting to try to switch to speed scratch and other different things. What's kind of going on in your district there?
Supply wise, I think things have gotten a lot better. So when we had supply chain issues, which everyone did, us included, what I decided to do for our district, unfortunately, I like to have a lot of variety, but what we did is I went to a 2-week cycle menu. Honestly, I got fed up with having to alternate my menu on a weekly basis because I couldn't get product. So I decided on a 2-week cycle menu, and I just rotated that. For example, like currently, because our supply chain is a little bit better, I'll run in either a 4 or 5 week cycle menu. I feel that consistency, especially with school age kids, is great. They want to know what they're going to get on a daily basis, what they can expect.
Great.
I think it does a lot of good for them. Yeah, so we shortened our cycle menu is what we did. Our supply chain, though, Robert, has been pretty good right now. We are involved with a co-op group in our district. So we do put together a bid with several schools in the areas, and we send that out to our supplier, and they're supposed to have a certain allotment of food for us for a given year. Of course, when the supply chains were all messed up, that was you get what you get. Our district is lucky enough, especially with our new construction build at our high school specifically, with the amount of cooler and freezer space that we have. I'm ordering 2 weeks out. Now that doesn't all come 2 weeks before, but I do a lot of future orders, So we are very fortunate. Our district is in that capacity where we can kind of, we have some storage space.
How about, are you seeing any labor challenges, or are you able to have as many people as you want?
Labor wise, actually right now, I'm happy to say that we are fully staffed.
That's awesome.
There you go.
We don't always hear that.
Yeah, I mean, we're fully staffed. I can't complain on that end. I'm not saying that after COVID we didn't have our issues, because we did. I don't think that was necessarily from lack of applicants or anything. It was basically it was an interesting time in our district, because we were revamping where we had our employees. Because we were transitioning a lot of employees into the high school, and then taking some employees away from our satellite schools, all during the time when everyone was not working. Some of them did not come back.
Yeah.
We have 50 employees here.
Nice.
That's one thing that, with that large of a group, I mean, I'm very fortunate to have the group that I do. A lot of our staff is, been here a long time, veteran staff members. So working at a school is a pretty good gig,
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
We keep hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, it is a pretty good gig. Nothing is without its challenges.
Sure. Yeah.
And, you're feeding a large population. You're trying to get a lot of food out in a quick time. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of employees. You're going to have issues on a daily basis, but as a whole, it's pretty good.
We probably should have talked a little bit more about this in the beginning, how Matt and I met. Matt was involved in this kitchen remodel at the high school. They were transitioning from, the 3 cook cook chill-ish kitchens shipping out. It wasn't really cook chill. It wasn't really central production kitchens. So they were going to get this brand new kitchen at the end of COVID. They had this fancy new kitchen with combi ovens and blast chillers and braising pans and kettles and, this really great sheet pan washing machine and this really great machine that crushes cans. And I mean, they got all the toys. And it was seeming like a lot of work for Matt just to implement this whole thing along doing the rest of his job. So I was contacted by the consultants on the job who designed the kitchen. And they were like, well, we know that you're very proficient in cook chill. And would you want to talk to Matt and see if they wanted to have somebody come in and consult and help get that kitchen up and running? And a 3-week contract turned into a 5-week contract, just because, the ladies loved me.
Because Robert loved it so much.
Yeah,
I loved it. Yeah,
Robert was trying out for a new job.
Yeah, exactly.
We implemented the cook chill, and I think then we broke for summer. And you had me come back just to make sure that it all went smooth again at the end of summer. Right. But it was kind of nice for you to have somebody so you didn't have to spend all day in that kitchen. And, you and I talked every day. We updated on what was going on. We had a game plan going into it. And, we just started slow and built upon it. And, by the end of the 3rd week, we were cooking 3 to 5 days out, and we had stuff in the coolers or the freezers for the next week. And so that's how we were able to do all of this food service for all of these children in all these schools with that limited number of people. Yeah, so Matt and I got kind of close over. We were together for a lot of hours for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and I think too that having Robert aboard for that was nice because number one, it shows that that our district is wants to provide additional resources to our staff to succeed. I think that's
cool. Yeah.
Kudos to our district for doing that. Also, I believe that I have a pretty good relationship with my staff. I like to think I do. But also having somebody from the outside working with them on a daily basis, showing them those type of things. I think if you have the availability to have something like that was a great thing to do,
Right.
Before, like he said, we had food ready to go for weeks. So we currently, how we do things is we produce 4 days out. Before we went centralized production, we were day of.
Oh, wow.
You came in that morning, you were doing it for that day. So I think there was a lot of concern on the staff side, where they say, well, there's no way if you're going to be doing it 4 days out that it's going to be any good. And that was one of our challenges is to kind of that part of getting everybody on board to see the picture of, wow, we have to be 4 days ahead or this is not going to work. For the most part, I think they're very behind it now because they understand that, wow, we have to produce for the whole district, not just a couple schools. So yeah, we have to be ahead of the game. Now there's certain things that you still do day of. I mean, we've found that with trial and error that there's certain things we just do the day of. But for the most part, we're 4 days out. Whole different concept.
Right. The mental hurdle of like, having that faith that, if we prep it right, if we do the right thing now, that it will actually last and it will still be high quality and,
sure.
We'll know how to do it. But if you've never actually seen it, I mean, it's kind of scary, especially as a person that's got to stand there and actually serve the food to the kids. Like I can imagine, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And change is scary. So it was change is scary.
And we also went from, at the high school before the rebuild at the high school, we had an A and a B option. Okay, that's it. Now you have 3 hotlines and a salad bar option.
That's cool.
The cafeteria that at the high school that they're walking into is better than a lot of college campuses. I mean, it's beautiful.
Right. That's awesome.
It's really cool.
That's cool.
Next time I'm through there, I'm going to have to just stop by.
Oh, absolutely.
To have lunch at the high school.
Like, why is this grown man here eating lunch?
It's this weird guy.
We've expanded into, we have a coffee bar as well.
Wow.
Right when you walk in the front of the high school, there's a coffee bar right there. So, I mean, super cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And you can do it. You can do it. Like, a lot of people were wondering, well, you can't do that and be compliant, but you can.
Oh.
I mean, you can, there's certain things like when you carry, your syrups and stuff for your flavored drinks, like it all has to be, sugar-free.
Sugar-free, yeah.
Okay.
But honestly, I mean, you do it right and you can't tell the difference. Like, you really can't.
It's so cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I bet. And that's probably a nice little profit center too, then.
Yeah.
It's basically a work program. So some students are involved in that. That develop work skills before they go out into the real world, and
that's awesome.
Jobs. A lot of them are going into jobs in the service industry or whatnot. So we provide them a little bit of additional assistance before they get out into the real world. And it's a great program. So the program is actually really coordinated by one of our teachers in the district. Food service just needs to be involved. We actually have to be involved from a legal standpoint.
That's cool.
Yeah, and all that stuff would you learn when you get into school nutrition, because it's considered a competitive food because it's served at the same time we're serving. So we do staff it with one individual and just kind of handle the financial part for them. But whatever we make revenue-wise goes right back into it. So, if they want a $5,000 cappuccino machine in the future, they can get it. So,
that's right. Nice. Do you have students cook too?
We do not. We do have a culinary program, so that's doing very well. But no, our students do not work in our kitchens.
Okay.
Besides being food dudes, Matt and I connected on, he also rides bicycles.
Oh, there you go.
And he does tries and things like that too. But also he's an ultra marathoner.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You've run 50 and 100 mile runs, huh?
Yeah, I have. I did a 100-miler this past October. So,
wow. Where was that one at?
That was on the Hennepin Canal.
Okay.
It's a rails to trail, so it was flat.
Okay.
It was flat.
Still a lot of miles.
That's good.
Flat and dark and lonely.
I do a mile on the treadmill and I feel like I'm going to pass out. So head off to you.
I can tell you since then, and I've talked to Robert about that, since then it's been a slow build back up, So I deserved a little bit of downtime after that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when Robert visited, he one day he stopped me in the parking lot and he said, "Is it always windy here?"
Of course.
I think when he was riding his bike, it was into the wind.
It was great when the corn was up because the corn would block some of the wind and I could go out on the rides. But when they cut all the corn down, it was just flat plains and the wind just whipped up. That was really weird too. When the corn was up, it was so humid in that town from the humidity coming off the corn, and it smelled so damn good. It's like that corn smelled so good.
Yeah.
Right. It was just like, wow, I had never experienced that before. And it's like every single corner's planted, any free land. So like there's like 20 square feet of open land and the corner of an intersection, it's planted with corn. There's corn everywhere.
I mean, it's God's country. The soil is just amazing here. I mean, it really is. The soil is amazing.
It's one of the things that I miss is the corn. We were talking about this earlier, right? I grew up in Illinois. And I had a couple jobs ago in my career where I did a little bit of traveling, and I actually did quite a bit of traveling back into the Midwest, which was fun. And I had a stretch where I went from Illinois to Nebraska, and then I think maybe to like Iowa.
Yeah.
And it was all the same trip. I bought corn in each state and then flew it back with me so that I could try them all side by side and compare it to the Colorado corn. It was hilarious. I don't tell that story to many people, but
that is so funny.
It seemed appropriate right now.
Nerd.
Yeah, that's okay.
Ryan's in Kent, which is, Washington, and those people are the same way with their salmon up there.
Oh yeah.
I remember one of the very first trips I took to Seattle to work up there. The gentleman I was working with, we stopped at a place and he picked up salmon for me from 3 different rivers for me to take home in my suitcase. And then I cooked it up and tried it and compared all, from the 3 different rivers and which river did I like best. And
yeah, we have we're actually talking about like landscape and the land as a whole. We're actually fortunate enough that so the USDA currently has a new program for a farm to school program that there is some funding for. So we grabbed a hold of that, and I've been working with a local garden that I just met at a market. Started a relationship, and then currently working with one farm and looking to work with 2 other farms to source some protein options too.
Cool. Nice.
And actually today, and this is kind of the cool thing that, with the new construction and with the new equipment and stuff like that, when you get a handful of employees that really get on board with it, it's really cool. So this morning I had one of my cooks take a picture of their, big, huge brazier just full of ground beef that we're going to be using for lasagna tomorrow at our high school. And there's a tiny bit of runoff on this stuff. There's like nothing at all,
Right.
So like they're super excited to do that. Now you're not going to feed the world with the amount of with what you have to pay per pound from a
Sure.
locally sourced farm, but to be able to start incorporating those type of things into our program, is super cool. And we got some really good beef around here. So,
Oh, I bet.
So I will be having lasagna tomorrow.
There you go. Sounds good.
It's great to hear you talk about that because Katie from the school district that we talked with in Colorado, she's had this implemented in her district for a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seems to be kind of a moving trend.
I honestly think like the more school districts grasp onto that and utilize that and promote that product. I mean, I would hope that moving into the future there would be even more funding for that, because if I can grab some funding that I'm going to be spending anyway, but I can support some local people, like, hey, like I said, you're not going to feed the world doing that, but like
Right.
you can make some movement, so you got to start somewhere.
You're also supporting, your local economy too, which is kind of nice. I think, having that connection with your schools in your area and then the businesses and growers and ranchers that are in that area too. I think it's an awesome connection. And then
It is.
the students can see it too. And then there's a little bit of pride and buy-in into those things that they're eating. And then, I don't know. I think that stuff goes a long ways, longer than most people realize.
And when they can actually see the product and see that, hey, that bell pepper does taste really good.
Right. Right.
Like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Taste the difference in what the food is.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to taste like.
Right. And I love field trips. Like, I love going to these farms and picking stuff up too.
Right.
Farmers are fun to like deal with. We used to deal with them a lot when we were opening restaurants. And we would do local farmers and stuff, and they were just some interesting characters you met in those.
Right. And they're more than happy to show you stuff. I mean, the last farm that I went out to, they showed me, where their feedlot was and everything like that. We went out to the feedlot, and I was like, there's hardly any animals in here. And they're like, exactly. And I was like, wow. Like that,
Right.
that is just the like treatment of their animals and how they, it's pretty cool,
Right.
But they're really into what they do,
Yeah.
So
The farmers were probably saying the same thing about us, Ryan, that we were probably sort of interested.
Oh,
as well.
100%. Like when they would come into like the kitchens and stuff like that, they're like, oh, wow. And then you talk to him for a while and you're like, all right, I got to go. You're kind of weird. I'm like, all right. Can I come see your farm? They're like, no, we're good. We're good.
No. Yeah, we don't actually allow visitors on the property.
There's a lot of places Ryan is not allowed.
Yeah, there's just signs everywhere with my photo on it with an X through it. He eats too much of the samples. Please stay away.
Well, this was fun. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Matt, about Galesburg?
Well, no, I mean, I would just say that it is an exciting time for our district. You know, it really is with the all the new construction projects and things are kind of coming together now. You know, I mean, there for a while we had talked a lot about how we were going to, revamp things and how things were gonna go, and then the whole world kind of broke down for a couple of years, and so we're finally getting there. I probably shouldn't talk too loudly about it because it all changed tomorrow.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood right away.
I mean, as a whole, I do think that the product has gotten better. It's gotten better. Not that it was bad to begin with, but it's gotten better because it's more consistent now.
Mm-hmm.
The consistency of the product is definitely there. Right. Our students, who are our customers, are they know what to expect, on a daily basis. So like I said, we have challenges every day, but things are going pretty good. So
that's awesome. That's really good to hear.
Well, yeah, this has been fun. We really appreciate you being our guest here today and giving us a little bit of insight to what's happening at your school district.
Sure. It was good to talk to you guys, and it was good to see you again, Robert. So
yeah, good to see you too.
Reconnected, and it feels so good.
We can have a bromance here.
That's fine.
How's that go? Like,
okay, perfect. Yeah, you guys should do like the half heart on the screen and like.
Here we go.
That was a fun conversation with Matt. I heard a few things that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah, I think it's pretty amazing just how many of these school districts are going to, the whole cook chill program and how that's becoming so much more important. And, it allows them to really hit quite a bit of production. I think that's really quite cool. And to, safely and in a very high quality way, produce all the food that they need to for their entire districts.
Yeah, it's really cool that they're able to do it 4 days out too. So they're staying ahead of what they need to do and everything.
Right.
I really want to go check out that high school though, because I feel like I'll live there, just get coffee all the time and eat there.
Well, yeah.
Build a little cot somewhere.
You could use your expense for like the coffees for us, and then I'll go get the food out of the lunchroom.
Perfect.
We'll kind of share,
and we'll just put it underneath Robert's name.
Yeah, totally.
Be like, Robert, let us do this.
They don't know any better.
Accounting will call me up. What are all these charges?
You aren't in Galesburg still, are you?
Yeah, who's in Galesburg? What's going on out there?
We're eating pizza.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, that was also really cool. I didn't know about the farm thing, and we had just talked to Katie, and he's looking at ways to doing the same thing. So, Luke, maybe you could shoot Matt an email and do an introduction to Katie.
Yeah.
They might be able to share some things.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
That's what I'm here for, good ideas.
Man.
All right, I'll give it to you one more time.
Oh, man. All right, take us out. Who's taking us out?
I think should I do this thing again?
I think you got to do it, man.
Thanks so much for joining the Culinary 360 podcast. Don't forget to subscribe.
He looks like he's being blown out in Alaska Airlines door.
Oh, jeez. Too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon. Too soon. There were people naked on that flight, Robert, because of that.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Yeah.